A few weeks ago, I replayed Majora's Mask, and to no one's surprise, I really enjoyed the game. While the main story is one of the best in the entire franchise, I would argue the game's side content is even better. There is a lot to do in this game, whether it be find pieces of heart, solve people's troubles, or my personal favorite, collect every mask. As the name implies, Majora's Mask has a lot of masks, 24 to be exact, and the overall quality is pretty mixed. While certain masks are among some of my favorite items in the entire series, others find themselves near the bottom. This raises the question, which masks are the best and which are the worst? In this video, I will be ranking all 24 masks from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask from worst to best. This list is mainly made up of my own personal opinion, though I did consider the practical uses and visual design when ranking these masks. I also want to point out that I've more recently played Majora's Mask 3D over the original, so that's the version that's more fresh in my mind. Though I will be talking about both the 3DS and N64 versions of each mask together, since they're for the most part the exact same. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Zelda content just like this, and without further ado, let's rank every mask from worst to best. If you watched my worst item in every Zelda game video that came out just a few weeks ago, then you'll already know my least favorite mask, since I also considered it the game's worst item in general. Kicking off the list is number 24, the Mask of Sense. Out of every mask in this game, the Mask of Sense is the only one that I genuinely think is bad. The only actual use for this mask is sniffing out mushrooms that can later be turned into potions, which is a mechanic I've never in my entire life felt compelled to use. The design is also very ugly, giving Link a literal pig face when he's wearing the mask. I'm also not a big fan of the Deku Butler race you have to play in order to actually obtain the item. Overall, just a really bad mask, with no helpful uses and a really ugly visual design. While my pick for the worst mask in the game was a no-brainer, the rest of the list is pretty interchangeable depending on the mood. I had a hard time picking the second worst mask in the game, and had gone back and forth between a few for the spot. Ultimately, I decided upon the postman's hat. This mask, or hat, is only ever used to check mailboxes, which is required to get a piece of heart. Unlike the Mask of Sense, I actually really like the hat's design, since it's not too distracting like the pig face. By far my favorite part of the postman's hat is how you obtain it. The mask is acquired if you give the priority mail from the Anjuin Cafe quest to the postman, where he'll quickly deliver it to Madame Aroma and flee Clocktown, giving Link the hat as thanks. While this quest is really cool, this is about all the postman's hat has going for it, making it one of the more mediocre masks in the game. 22. Don Garo Mask. My opinion on this mask is pretty similar to the last one, in that the uses are really limited, but the design and story is pretty neat. Don Garo's mask allows Link to speak with the frogs of Termina, which is required to reunite the frog band. Obviously, this quest is really funny, and I'm a big fan of the cutscene at the end. Though, I'll be honest, actually playing through this side quest is kind of annoying, since you have to revisit certain dungeons and do a little backtracking, which can definitely get tedious after a while. But of course, a froggy mask is always gonna be pretty cool. Believe it or not, but the All Knight's mask has one of the creepiest backstories out of any mask on this list. This item's main ability is preventing the wearer from sleeping, which according to the inventory was used as a form of torture. Oh sweet, now I really want to wear this thing. Unfortunately, the only use for this mask is getting some heart pieces by listening to Granny's stories, since Link won't fall asleep like he normally does. While the backstory is really quite creepy, the minimal uses definitely hold this item back. I really wanted to put Camaro's mask higher on the list, but I couldn't in all seriousness put it over the other remaining masks. If you want this mask, you'll have to visit this mushroom thing between midnight and 4 AM on the first 2 days. Here, you can find this creepy naked ghost guy who loves to dance. If Link heals his soul, you'll be granted his mask, which lets Link... Actually, I'll just show you. Yep, this mask is freaking awesome. With this item, Link can show his new dance moves to the Rosa sisters, who will give him a piece of heart. While Camaro's mask may be hilarious, it's only ever used to get one piece of heart, though it is one of the best in the entire series. Number 19, Cafe's mask. You might have thought the torture device mask was creepy, but wait until you hear about the mask that's made out of another man's face. Not actually, but it's still really creepy. Cafe's mask is only used to kickstart the Anjuin Cafe side quest, which is one of the best side quests in the entire series. Obviously, this ups the item's ranking by a lot, and this will be a recurring theme throughout the video. Speaking of Cafe, number 18, the Keaton mask. This mask is obtained from the actual character Cafe. Well, not directly, but it belonged to him at some point. The Keaton mask is one of the most iconic masks from this game, which doesn't really make sense since it's kinda useless. Wearing this mask in certain areas of Termina will allow Link to play the super fun Keaton quiz, with many complex and thought-provoking questions like, what time does Romani go to bed? Okay? Somebody keep an eye on this guy. And now for the mask that should realistically be near the very bottom, number 17, the couple's mask. Like the previously mentioned Cafe's mask, this item is carried by its story. Apart from being the reward of an awesome side quest, the couple's mask is only used to get a piece of heart from the mayor, which is still pretty nice, but you literally just interact with the mayor while wearing this mask to get it, which is really boring. I actually really like this mask's visual design. It's kind of plain, but that makes it look really clean. Story-wise, it's one of the best, but the small uses don't help its placement on this list. The troop leader mask, also called the circus leader mask, is one that I wish could do a little bit more. Like most of the masks near the bottom of this list, this one doesn't have many uses. The main ability is being able to calm down angry people, specifically the Gorman brothers. The side quest leading up to this mask is pretty fun, requiring Link to use all his different forms to put on a moving performance for Gorman. While this mask doesn't help with any heart pieces, it does give you a bottle in the 3DS version. Oh, and the design is also pretty hilarious. Number 15, the Bremen mask. Like Camaro's mask, the Bremen mask is only used in one part of the game. This item makes various animals, or even skeletons, follow Link in a sort of march. Obviously, this is really funny, especially when you use it on the Ikana warriors. Unfortunately, this is only useful in one part of the entire game, where Link can lead a little chick parade. While the quest is really short, you're rewarded with one of the best masks in the entire game, which I'll talk about much later. This mask is also stupidly easy to obtain. All you have to do is speak to Guru at a certain time and bam, the mask is yours. While it's pretty funny and silly, the Bremen mask is realistically not very useful compared to the rest of the list. Have you ever wanted to drink booze in a Zelda game? Well, with the Romani mask, you can finally make all of your drinking dreams come true. This mask is essentially Termina's version of a fake ID, as it allows Link to enter the milk bar. Okay, technically this place doesn't actually serve alcohol, or at least that's what they say. I'm onto your secrets. Jokes aside, gaining access to this location is actually really useful, since you need the milk bar to get other masks and finish various side quests, making the Romani mask a pretty funny but also useful item. Putting the Mask of Truth all the way down at number 13 feels really wrong, but I actually think it's a pretty solid placement for this mask. To me, the Mask of Truth is easily one of the most iconic items in this game, probably since it was also in Ocarina of Time, like a few of the other masks in this list. Visually, this mask has one of the best designs in the game. The red Sheikah eye is both fitting and creepy, and speaking of creepy, this item's main ability is a sort of telepathy, where Link is able to speak to animals and gossip stones. I've always been a big fan of this mechanic. It's pretty interesting to see what the various dogs and gossip stones of Termina have to say, and it's basically required for the doggy racetrack. The 3DS version also added some additional uses, like locating grottos. I'm kinda mixed on the swamp spider house, which you have to clear if you actually want the mask, though I do think it's more good than bad, even if it can be a bit tedious at times. Overall, one of the most iconic masks in the game with a lot of very convenient abilities. Number 12, the Captain's Hat. The Captain's Hat has always been one of my favorite masks to actually collect. The storyline leading up to acquiring this item is really well done. The quest involves fighting the captain of the ancient Ikana army, Captain Kita, who is genuinely one of the best characters in the entire game. This mask is very useful throughout many parts of the story, though it's mainly used and required in the Ikana graveyard, where Link can order the Stall children to open the graves, as they mistake him for their leader when he wears the mask. For having a really neat backstory and being one of the only masks required to beat the game, the Captain's Hat earns its spot just outside of the top 10. When making this list, I had completely forgotten about one mask, and I didn't even see it when I was looking through the mask list in this game, which is extremely ironic since that's kind of the whole point of the stone mask. If you've been watching my channel for a while, it should come as no surprise when I say how much I dislike stealth in video games. While I hate it in some games more than others, Forsaken Fortress, the stealth segments in Majora's Mask have also never been my cup of tea. Thankfully, the stone mask basically fixes this entirely. You get this mask from Shiro, a soldier that's so unbelievably boring that he has literally become invisible. If Link gives him a potion to heal his wounds, he'll be rewarded with the stone mask. The simple way of acquiring this mask is actually pretty beneficial this time around, since it can be useful to just get it out of the way. While his location does change based on the version of the game, the quest is basically the same. When worn, the stone mask will make Link invisible, which, as I had mentioned earlier, is really helpful in the stealth segments like the Pirate's Fortress. A very useful mask, though the design is a bit plain and boring and wait, where'd it go? Kicking off the top 10 is the Blast Mask. If Link saves this poor old woman from getting mugged on the first night, she'll give the mask as thanks. As the name implies, this mask works exactly like a bomb, only it's strapped to Link's face. While this might sound like a stupid idea, having a bomb with you at all times is more useful than you'd think, especially since the game takes away your bombs every time you reset the 3-day cycle. Not the best mask in the entire game, but still really solid and one of the easiest to actually get. If you look up wasted potential on the internet, a picture of the Giant's mask is the first thing to pop up. Don't actually look it up though. Just take my word for it. The Giant's mask allows Link to Titan shift into a freaking giant, which on paper is like the coolest thing ever. Though, as you might have guessed, the actual execution is extremely underwhelming. This mask is only usable in the Stone Tower Temple boss room. Yes, you heard me right. This mask is only usable in one room in the entire game. And the Twin Bull boss fight isn't even that fun either. While it is so cool to transform into a giant Link and destroy this boss with either your huge sword or fist, depending on the platform, the fact that this is the mask's only showcase in the entire game is just so disappointing. The next couple of masks are honestly pretty similar and could be changed around depending on the day, but for now I'm gonna go with number 8, the Garo mask, and number 7, the Gibdo mask. Like the Captain's hat, these two masks are required to progress through the game, specifically in Ikana Canyon. The Garo mask is acquired after beating the Gorman brothers in a race, and allows Link to actually enter the canyon. Wearing this mask when walking around Ikana will draw the attention of the Garo ninja, who can be fought and defeated for various hints. Something pretty interesting about this mask is how the design completely changes depending on the version of the game. The N64 version looks like the Garo Ninja, and the 3DS remake or remaster looks like the Garo Master. I think both appearances look equally as cool, but it's still a pretty interesting thing to mention. On the other hand, the Gibdo mask is required to progress throughout the Ikana well, as it gives Link the ability to speak to Gibdos. While I do think the Garo mask is cooler, the Gibdo mask is a part of the saddest Zelda moment of all time. Like seriously, I cannot watch this cutscene without tearing up, but I'll talk about this more in my upcoming character ranking. An additional use of not only the Garo and Gibdo mask, but also the Captain's hat is how wearing the mask around Redeads makes them dance, which is not only hilarious, but helpful in getting rupees super quick. I love the Ikana part of Majora's Mask, and these two masks are some of the biggest reasons why. Every mask from here on out is great, which of course includes the very creepy but really useful Great Fairy mask. If you like collecting the stray fairies found within dungeons, I mean, why wouldn't you? Then this mask is essential. The ability of this item is being able to sense and attract stray fairies. The mask will tell you if there's a stray fairy in the room by changing it to look a bit more magical, I guess. But this mask can also draw stray fairies to your location, making it really easy to collect the ones that are further away. I used this mask a ton in my recent playthrough, since I'm not super familiar with the general stray fairy locations, and the hints it gives you can be extremely helpful if you aren't using a guide, making the Great Fairy mask an essential for anyone who wants to play this game to its fullest. Before you even clicked on this video, I'm sure you knew the 3 main transformation masks would place highly, but the question is, which is my favorite? Well, first, let's go over my least favorite, which is number 5, the Deku mask. Despite starting the game in your Deku form, I feel like it's still the one that I use the least. Obviously, this mask is extremely important in the Woodfall portion of this game, and has some really great uses, like launching out of flowers, skipping across water, and shooting bubbles. The issue is, these uses become irrelevant very quickly. You won't even need to skip across water after you clear Woodfall Temple, and the bubble shooting is just the worst version of the bow. But I will say that I actually really like flying through the air with the flower launch thing. I'm also a big fan of this mask's backstory. The soul trapped within the mask, originally belonging to the Deku Butler's son, is actually really sad, especially since we can see the Deku Butler crying at his son's dead corpse. Another minor detail that pissed me off about the 3DS version in particular is how different the water skipping feels. There was some change to the momentum in the remake that makes it way harder to clear large gaps. I'm not exactly sure why this happened, but I do know that it's really annoying. And speaking of skipping over water, the Zora mask lets you swim through water. You don't have to do this anymore. Yay. I have gone on and on about my mixed feelings on the Zora form in previous videos. I might have a lot of issues with this mask, but it's still a lot of fun to use and very important to the story. First of all, I gotta give some love to Mikau. This dude is literally dying and decides to give Link one final performance before he ultimately succumbs to his injuries. What a guy. Like the Deku mask, the Zora mask allows Link to take on another form. In this Zora form, Link can use a boomerang attack, shred on his guitar, and most importantly, swim or walk underwater. While all of this seems pretty awesome, the actual controls for the Zora swimming aren't perfect at all. And I won't even get started on the 3DS version of this mask, but to quickly summarize my opinions, it sucks. though it is a lot more bearable with Chateau Romani, which makes the swimming feel much closer to the original, since it doesn't use any magic. When it works, the Zora mask can be a lot of fun to use, but I've always found it a little on the jankier side, which is why it's not above number 3, the Goron mask. I mean, come on, was there really any doubt? Putting aside the fact that the Goron are my favorite Zelda race ever, the Goron mask has always been my favorite of the 3 main transformation masks, and for a bit it was arguably my favorite mask in the entire game. Unlike Link's Zora and Deku forms, which are both pretty situational, the Goron mask can be used throughout the entire game in many different scenarios. The main reason being, you can roll real fast. I don't know if this is just me, but I hardly ever use Epona in Majora's Mask, because she just feels so much slower than this mask. Rolling in your Goron form will take up magic, but it's not annoying like the Zora swimming, since you can find magic pots and grass patches, which will break when you roll over them. This mask is also helped by the fact that it's used in my favorite boss in the entire game, Goat, which showcases this mask's really fun movement. Moral of the story, if a mask lets you move quicker, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I'm sure you can guess where I'm going with this. Number 2, the bunny hood. This mask is undeniably my most used mask out of the entire list. Right after I get this mask, which is super early on, I literally never take it off. Not only does it look super cool, but it's the most convenient mask in the entire game. The bunny hood allows Link to both run faster and jump further. While this might sound really simple, it makes a huge difference in the long run, especially for a game with such a huge emphasis on time. As I had mentioned earlier, the bunny hood can be acquired really early on. The only requirement is the Bremen mask and access to Romani Ranch, which you can get for free on the final day. The bunny hood is the reward for leading the little chick parade I had mentioned earlier. There's really not that much I have to say about this mask. It's really straightforward, which honestly makes it so much better. I love the improved quality of life, easiness to acquire, and design of this mask, or hood, making it very easily my second favorite mask in the entire game, being topped by only one. At the very start of the video, I had mentioned how collecting masks is my absolute favorite thing to do in Majora's Mask. Not only is doing the side quests a lot of fun, but the reward at the end makes it so worth it. If the player has collected all 24 masks and traded them in with the Moon Children, you will be rewarded with one final mask. Number 1, the Fierce Deities mask. I am well aware that this might not be the most useful mask in the entire game, but it has always been my favorite. The Fierce Deities mask is the final item in the entire game, and it makes sense why. When worn, Link will transform into arguably his most powerful form ever, the Fierce Deity. In this form, Link grows to an unnatural height and sports a white, armored version of his usual tunic. Along with this outfit change, he also wields a giant double helix blade, which is capable of killing the strongest bosses in mere seconds. Fierce Deity Link is my favorite Link design ever. It does a great job at showcasing this mask's immense power. As I had just mentioned, this form allows Link to absolutely mow down bosses with literally no effort whatsoever. I mean, you can defeat the final boss in less than 2 minutes with this mask. Unfortunately, that is also this mask's only downside, being how you can only wear it in boss rooms, and the fishing hole in the 3DS version. But honestly, I totally understand why, since taking on the Fierce Deity form in other areas is just straight up game breaking. I also love the sheer mystery behind this mask. I mean, the game hints at this mask's power being even more dangerous than Majora's. I absolutely love this item, and I might even go as far as to say that it's arguably my favorite item in the entire series, giving Link unmatched power, a super sweet design, and a satisfying reward for collecting every mask, making the Fierce Deities mask pretty easily my favorite mask in the entire game. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Zelda content just like this. As I've mentioned in like every video in the past few months, I am currently working on a massive project where I will rank every single Zelda character ever from worst to best. The video will be about 3 hours long and one of the biggest Zelda rankings ever. If you want to get closer to both the community and myself, join the community Discord. We have a bunch of fun conversations about Zelda and many other topics. I would personally recommend joining, which is linked in the description of this video and also the description of my channel. I hope you could agree with my ranking. If not, feel free to comment your favorite and least favorite masks down below. Thank you to all the continued support over the course of my channel. It means so much to see you guys enjoying the content. Thanks for everything, and I'll see you all in the next one.